This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Thursday, July 18th, 2019. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. 5 years on and still no answers. The parents of 20-year-old Dario Lloyd, who was shot execution style, are pleading for answers. The killing of the Britons Hill St. Michael youth remains unsolved, but his parents aren't giving up hope. His mum, Angela Lloyd, spoke to Barbados Today after a memorial service was held for him at the Restoration Ministries Church.
It's a trying process because every day you're missing him, but it's so hard for me, still not fully getting over it, because the amount of shootings, every time they have a shooting, the internet bring back memories that what I went through, and all other mothers have to go through the same thing, and it's not a good experience for no one to go through. I know you have to move on, I know you have to find closure, but that's the part that sometimes you're hearing still this body do it. I know you're still hearing the things on the road, but you ain't got no proof, so I don't try to dwell on that part unless the police say otherwise. But it's the shooting that happening throughout the island that really affects me.
Well, it's a different story for another family. This time it's relief that's been expressed by a family member of a 6-year-old who died in mysterious circumstances 4 years ago. Ina Brown, the paternal grandmother of Jahan King, tells Barbados Today she's happy that the two persons charged for causing his death will finally face a judge and jury. The manslaughter case against the child's 31-year-old mother, LaSanta Katrina Gill, and Dwayne Alistair Marshall, is headed to the High Court. The child died at the QEH after arriving there with his mother. The official death certificate revealed that he died of blunt chest and abdominal trauma.
I'm going to be more than happy when it finishes. I need it to finish. I know it's not going to finish tomorrow or next week, but I hope there will.
So are you saying you want to see justice for him before you close your eyes?
Oh yes, and I don't know when the Lord ready for me. And I pray that I will be alive to see that ever who is responsible in that house be brought to justice.
On to tourism news now. Government is reporting that plans to build a Hilton Garden Inn at what is now Carlisle House at Bay Street are moving ahead. Minister of Tourism Kerry Simmons says the legal work has started and the country will soon see the fruition of that investment.
And it will probably be a number of things. Quite likely it may have a hotel component to it as well as some degree of shopping. And that is really the part which is what I describe as the bayfront, but across the street, across the water from what used to be customs and immigration. That's where that particular investment is to take place. But there are again several other expressions of interest, and they will be rolled out in due course. But the important thing is to understand that people are once again coming forward. They're once again expressing confidence, and we have now to try to manage this process to make sure that we can get the best of the returns for the country.
On to another matter, Minister Simmons is urging small hotels to work together to better compete with big properties. He was addressing the annual general meeting of the Intimate Hotels of Barbados.
That the 49 separate properties should be brought together as a group under a common brand, themed, if you will, the Intimate Hotels or the Intimate Group of Barbados. There is some obvious economy of scale automatically that you benefit from. Your procurement right now, if you have a 25-room hotel, you are buying linen for 25 rooms. You are buying crockery for 25 rooms. You are buying cutlery for 25 rooms. Every time you have breakfast being served and you hear bling, 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 and a cup breaks in the kitchen, that means you now got to go and buy back the cup at that level. An economy of scale for 1,075 rooms, which carries an agreement as to how the crockery can look, or the cutlery can look, and the linen and so on, and the slippers in the bedroom, and the robe, and everything else. Those things become a lot cheaper and a lot easier to achieve if it is done at that level than if it is done at the level you're now doing it.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
An outspoken church leader is calling on members of the LGBTI community to respect the Bahamas' Christian principles. This comes amid plans to launch Pride Bahamas next year, as we hear in this report from our news.
They want us to respect them as to who they are. They must respect who we are, and therefore do not come here and believe that they can do as they wish.
The Bahamas is a Christian nation, and anything that is done should be guided by those Christian principles, which should be upheld and respected, says Rector of St. Agnes Anglican Church, Father Ranfilly Brown, who was asked to comment on the plans to launch Pride Bahamas in May 2020. The week-long event will feature activities geared towards the sensitization and education of the LGBTI community in the Bahamas.
Our way of living, our Christian principles in this country must be respected and upheld. And if anything contrary to that, fire in the hole.
Following reports that the country could be hosting a Pride event next year, many Bahamians took to social media to share their views. Organizers have insisted Pride Bahamas would fit the country's culture and climate and denied any suggestion that members of the LGBT community would be parading in the street. Brown cautioned the government to be wise.
And finally, internationally, the World Health Organization has declared the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo a public health emergency of international concern. The Ebola epidemic began in the DRC nearly a year ago and has since killed more than 1,600 people. France 24 has the details.
A designation only used for the gravest epidemics. The Ebola outbreak in the DRC has become a public health emergency of international concern.
The Ebola emergency meeting has today advised the Director General to declare a public health emergency of international concern. This is still a regional emergency and by no way a global threat.
The UN Health Agency emergency provision was only activated 4 times in the past. In 2009, with the H1N1 swine flu pandemic, the spread of poliovirus and the Ebola epidemic of West Africa in 2014, and the surge of the Zika virus in 2016. The WHO decision aims at bringing the international attention to the ongoing crisis, which saw its first victim in a highly populated area this past weekend. The patient who died in Goma was a preacher from Butembo, one of the outbreak's hardest hit towns. Separately, last week a woman with Ebola symptoms from DRC crossed the border into Uganda. She too has since died from the virus.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.